like following your intuition can only be useful if you're consuming the right type of things or you're hanging around the right type of people. Yeah. And it can take, so, well, if you don't know, you don't know, but it really does make a difference what you're consuming. At least, at least first coming to a neutral standpoint in terms of what you're consuming. Like, let's say, I mean, that's not possible to not consume anything. We live in a consumerism era right now, so we have to take in information constantly. I mean, we can't avoid it unless we just sleep all day, I guess. Stay inside, sleep all day, but you know, if you just be around the right people, take on what they say, because hopefully they're at a point where you'd want to be at yourself in the future. Or you read certain books, or you listen to certain podcasts by people that are like a role models and things like that. Because the more you can, like let's say you're watching all these streamers, right? And it's not bad too. It's not bad. They're funny. They're funny, but the more you watch their videos and things, you're kind of, it's like you're taking a piece of their personality with you to use in your own life. And that's what I've noticed. Bro, I've always been so aware of this with my friends, I mean. Like, if my friend says something really, really funny, I'll start saying it too. You know what I mean? Or if we have the same inside joke, we'll start using it with everybody. It's become a part of our personality, like the way we speak to each other. So that's just how now we speak to everyone else. Even if no one else understands it, I understand it and he understands it, you know what I'm saying? And I noticed that I always do that. And I think my friends do that as well. Like, you know, if there's just something funny that I've said before, something I usually say that's funny, they'll start saying it outside of the circle of me and him, or however many people are in the friendship. Like, you literally become what you consume, or whatever information is just going through your brain. So sometimes following your intuition, like when I say things like that, or when you hear people say things like that, or when you see things like that, like, oh, follow your instincts, trust your gut instincts. Not all the time, not all the time. If it's something that would be opposed to what you'd usually do, then I would say go for it. I'd honestly say go for it. Yes, you're essentially exploring the unknown, and that's where you can grow the most, by stepping outside your comfort zone into unknown territory. And about the intuition stuff, right? The best way, if you're not where you're at, if you're not where you want to be at currently, then one thing I would do personally, one thing you should do, is literally just, just take time before making a decision, right? And think, okay, if I had this, that, if I was my higher self, let me just summarize it real quick. If I'm reacting from the point of view of the vision I have for myself, so let's say the millionaire, let's say if you want to be a millionaire, how would I react as a millionaire? Would I be overly anxious about this? Would I act from a point of scarcity? Would I not be generous? Because if I'm a millionaire, I'll have more than enough to spend or to give. So why am I not giving, you know? You have to kind of look at things like that. Look at, if you want to hone your intuition, I guess, hone it. Because eventually, by repetition, law of repetition, it will will stick into your subconscious mind. But it does take it's not gonna be like easy if we're talking about the latter part of things in terms of honing your intuition. It's gonna be like a over time thing. You have to do it in baby steps. So you're trying to take big leaps, like in terms of acting in your highest state, in terms of like what you desire. It'll be hard. It'll be hard to kind of comprehend. You kind of have to like lay some small foundation, if that makes sense. But being guided by your intuition, honestly, it's just it makes things. I wouldn't even say it makes things easier, but it just helps you to grow quicker. It will stop you from going round and round in circles, because if you're following the intuition based off of your old programming, you're gonna keep repeating the same cycles, obviously, because you're doing the same thing, you're reacting the same way, you know. And most of us don't even realize that we're ignoring intuition. So sometimes you can have the intuition, right? But then it's kind of like you're reasoning with that intuition in terms of ego. And then you don't do the thing. And then you kind of class that as, oh, that's an intuition. But what you really just did was something that came from deeper then came up. You thought about it. You said no. It went back down. Like, it's just suppressing it. You're just suppressing it, your intuition, basically. And that becomes a habit. It becomes a habit. It becomes a norm for you. So that's why it can be hard. It can feel like just unnatural to kind of break that current of always conforming to your ego, you know, letting the ego win. You need to satisfy the ego by giving it what it wants. That's the only way to quiet the ego. That's the only way to quiet it. You have to, if you're scared to indulge in certain topics, it's better to just indulge in them. Feed the ego of intelligence. Show the ego that you can follow your intuition, you can follow what's deep inside and not be affected, and it still be appeased. Either way, the ego just wants to make itself known. It's kind of like flattery by you even. I know I'm talking like it sounds very abstract now. It sounds very like. So I'm gonna just wrap up here, but it's kind of like you're proving you're basically flattering it. I don't want to have to say that, but you're flattering the ego by like, let's say now you indulge in intelligence of something that you think you'd usually fear, like, oh, I don't want to read this book because it's gonna change my perspective, or like, no, not even it's gonna change my perspective, more like, oh, this is evil, this is, you know, that, this and that. But bro, when you take in knowledge, right, you don't have to absorb it and make it you have to kind of make that knowledge your own. Don't just let it permeate your consciousness. Chop up the information, compare it with other things you know or you've read, and formulate your own opinion on it. And then let's say you satisfy the ego in terms of the gym, in terms of physical activity. Oh, I can't lift this weight. Build up to it. That's how you appease the ego, right? Or let's say in terms of material. I just buying things, just literally just buying things for yourself. because sometimes we don't, sometimes we would avoid. I know me personally, in the past I used to like maybe avoid buying things because I'd feel guilty for spending money. Oh, I'm broke, but bro, that just kept me in that paradigm. That just kept me in that paradigm of poverty. To satisfy the ego, follow what's it within, your desire from within. It's a different style of video. I just kind of was talking from off the dome. I hope you found this video useful, and if you want to get a bulking guide, if you want to get from skinny to shredded, undefined to defined, lean if you just want to get lean, or lose weight, then check out the bulking guide. And my contact info is there as well if you want me to help you to curate a plan tailored to you and your circumstances and your goals. So yeah, check it out. And oh yeah, one-on-one calls is also online. There's 2 slots every few days, I think. You can check it out, just check it out. And just a disclaimer as well, it has to be 18 plus for any like consultation calls and stuff. You have to be 18 plus. Yeah. If you made it this far as well, you might as well subscribe. And I hope you have a nice week, have a nice day. Stay blessed.